The village of Elmora slept beneath a cold gray sky, untouched by war for so many years that most people believed danger would never reach them. Elena woke before sunrise to the distant sound of church bells ringing wildly. At first she thought there was a fire somewhere nearby, but then came the screams. She rushed to the window and froze in terror as flames consumed the far end of the village. Armed riders thundered through the muddy streets, carrying Ottoman banners, while villagers ran in every direction. Her father grabbed an axe hanging beside the door and ordered Elena and her mother to hide. The walls shook as horses crashed outside. Neighbors screamed for help while smoke poured through the streets. Elena's little brother cried uncontrollably as her mother pulled him beneath the table. Then the front door exploded inward. 2 soldiers stormed inside. Elena watched helplessly as her father charged toward them and was struck down within seconds. Her mother begged for mercy, but the soldiers dragged Elena outside into the freezing morning air. Around her, dozens of terrified girls were already chained together. Some cried for their families, while others stood silent in shock. As the village burned behind them, Elena realized her old life had ended forever. After weeks of marching across muddy roads and frozen hills, the surviving captives finally saw the towering walls of Constantinople rising beside the sea. Elena had never imagined a city so enormous. Crowded streets overflowed with merchants, camels, soldiers, and ships arriving from distant lands. But the beauty of the city only deepened her fear, because she understood why they had been brought there. The girls were taken into crowded holding chambers where servants washed them, brushed their hair, and forced them into cleaner clothing. Traders inspected them carefully, discussing age, beauty, and strength as if they were animals. Elena felt humiliated every time strangers touched her face or pulled her hair aside to study her features. Inside the slave market, wealthy buyers walked between rows of frightened captives while guards watched closely for resistance. Some girls sobbed openly, while others stared blankly at the ground. Elena noticed that younger girls, and those with pale skin, attracted the most attention from wealthy officials. She became friends with Sofia, a Hungarian captive, who warned her never to show anger or fear. "The palace buyers watch everything," Sofia whispered. Hours later, richly dressed guards entered the market, and suddenly the entire crowd fell silent. The massive gates of Topkapi Palace closed behind Elena with a heavy sound that echoed through the stone corridors like a prison door. Inside, the Imperial Harem looked nothing like the terrifying stories she had imagined. Marble floors gleamed beneath golden lanterns, fountains flowed softly through decorated courtyards, and the air carried the scent of rosewater and incense. Yet beneath the beauty, fear ruled everything. Elena and the other new captives were ordered to kneel before older women who controlled the harem's daily life. They were given new names, forbidden to speak their native languages, and taught strict palace rules. Elena became Layla overnight, as though her old identity had been erased forever. The days were filled with endless lessons in music, dancing, reading, and etiquette. Mistakes brought punishment. Servants whispered that girls who disobeyed powerful officials often disappeared without explanation. Elena quickly realized the harem was built on silent competition. Every woman fought for safety, privilege, or survival. Some hoped to gain favor with the Sultan, while others simply wanted enough protection to avoid cruelty. Late one night, Elena heard muffled crying from behind a locked chamber door. Nobody stopped walking. Nobody even looked back. Rumors spread through the harem like wildfire when word arrived that the Sultan would soon select new companions from among the women. Fear and excitement consumed the palace at the same time. For days, Elena and the others were pushed through exhausting lessons from sunrise until late night. Tutors forced them to memorize poetry, practice elegant movements, and learn how to speak with perfect calmness. Any mistake earned sharp punishment. One girl was struck across the face for stumbling during a dance rehearsal. Elena tried to remain invisible, believing attention inside the palace only brought danger. But during a formal gathering, the Valide Sultan noticed her quiet intelligence and graceful manners. The older woman ordered Elena transferred into the elite quarters reserved for promising concubines. Overnight, everything changed. The luxurious chambers came with silk clothing, richer meals, and private instructors, but they also brought envy. Some women smiled politely in public, while whispering cruel threats afterward. Sophia secretly warned Elena that several concubines already viewed her as a rival. One evening before an important ceremony, Elena found a jeweled cup waiting beside her bed. Sophia grabbed her arm before she could drink from it. They poured the liquid into a flower pot nearby. By morning, every flower inside the pot had turned black and wilted. Elena's life inside the palace became more dangerous with every passing month. Although she now lived in richly decorated chambers filled with silk curtains and golden lanterns, she understood that comfort meant nothing inside the harem. Every smile concealed suspicion, and every conversation could become a trap. The Sultan increasingly requested her presence, admiring not only her beauty, but also her intelligence. Soon Elena found herself listening to discussions about wars, trade, and political alliances, while servants quietly poured wine around the room. The attention placed a target on her back. Rival concubines watched her constantly, searching for any mistake that could destroy her position. Mira, one of the Sultan's former favorites, openly despised Elena. One night near the palace baths, Mira grabbed Elena's wrist and revealed scars running across her shoulders from old punishments. "The palace destroys everyone eventually," she whispered coldly before walking away. Days later, Sophia suddenly disappeared without warning. Guards refused to answer questions, and servants avoided Elena's eyes whenever she mentioned her friend's name. Finally, an elderly maid secretly revealed that Sophia had been accused of helping another captive escape the palace. That night Elena stood alone beside her window overlooking the Bosphorus, realizing she could barely remember her childhood home anymore. The Sultan's sudden illness threw the entire palace into chaos. Rumors spread through the harem faster than wildfire, and fear consumed every corridor of Topkapi Palace. Guards doubled their patrols, while powerful court officials secretly supported different princes who might claim the throne. Elena quickly realized that choosing the wrong side could mean execution. The once beautiful palace now felt like a battlefield hidden beneath silk curtains and marble walls. Eunuchs searched rooms at night, servants whispered about poisonings, and several concubines disappeared without explanation. Mira openly joined a faction supporting another heir, and Elena knew her own life was in danger. During the unrest, a fire erupted in the outer quarters of the harem. Smoke filled the halls as terrified women rushed through the corridors. Amid the confusion, Elena discovered hidden records listing the names of hundreds of European girls taken during raids over many decades. Some names had no endings beside them, as though those girls had vanished from history completely. Then, unexpectedly, Sophia appeared alive. Thin and exhausted from imprisonment, she revealed she had bribed a guard during the chaos. Together they escaped through narrow servant tunnels beneath the palace walls. At sunrise, Elena looked back at the glowing domes of Constantinople and saw only sorrow behind their beauty.